Good evening, everyone. My other name is actually Reranzo. So in corporate, they call me Bess, but when I'm at home, they call me Rando. So don't be surprised you meet me and somebody says, "Who's Rando?" You know, growing up in South Africa, they always gave you an English name and an African name. You know how our parents were, but yeah, that's our history and that's how we've grown up. And I just want to firstly thank Courtney and Fungai for this opportunity to come and talk tonight. Um, yeah, HR is something I do. HR is something I'm passionate about. It's something that I'm called to do. I always tell people, for me, it's not a job; it's a calling. And I see it in the way I impact life and I change lives. It's even worse when when you work in the African space. You'll be faced with lots of challenges, different dynamics of languages, cultures, all sorts of things that you meet with. But it makes it exciting and it makes it more meaningful and more impactful. So I've been privileged to work for many blue chip companies because I was just one of those people who was always trying to get to the top. And if I felt that they didn't have a succession plan for me, I moved to the next opportunity. If they don't make it work for you, make it work for yourself. It's as simple as that. So, and I just want to thank Courtney and Fungai. So I met them when I was at Samsung. And remember when I was at Samsung, the people who were working at Samsung never believed in triple BE. We got there and they were level 5. And they said, but there are no black candidates. I said, it's impossible. If you found me, you'll find the rest. And we worked a lot with Warrior Talent and we literally transformed the business into triple BE 1 from 5 to 1. So these things are possible. I always say to HR people, you control the CV, who comes in and who comes out. So it's simple. If you want to transform the place, give them the CVs that you want to give them and hold back the ones that you don't want to issue. It's not it's not difficult, guys. And people tell me, oh, there's no talent, there's talent. Huh? How many years of democracy we're still talking that there's no black talent, guys? It's either there's something wrong with you. If you're going to tell me there's no talent, there's something wrong with you, you need to search within yourself whether you believe in black talent or not. Because sometimes we have lost hope in black talent and we think other races are more superior and more knowledgeable, which is not true. Just that I've seen that in corporate, black talent sometimes is suppressed, it's abused, it's harassed. They will hide information from you. They won't invite you to certain meetings. They'll do all sorts of funny things just to make sure, especially when they see that your star is shining and they can see that this one will be the next one to take over. But it's a continuous battle that I want to raise, that in South Africa, we still continue to fight apartheid in the workplace. And I expect each and every one of you in this room to make a difference and make sure that you empower your people. You look after your people, because if you don't, nobody else will look after them. If I remember some of the people that empowered me, the then Group CEO of HR Director of Vodacom, Sis Lungi, she's late. If it wasn't for Lungi, I wouldn't be where I am today. She mentored me, she coached me, she did everything to make sure that I succeed. So it takes another successful person to make sure that the next one succeeds. But anyway, let me get back to my topic. I don't know why I had to say that, but I had to say it. So the question is, what does HR want from CEOs? I mean, the role of HR is to support the business achieve its business objectives and its strategy as a whole. So we are responsible for ensuring that we support the business with the necessary talent that they need to actually meet those objectives. And you know, the other day, I've got a friend of mine who runs a company. I forgot the name. So she does. She's got a nice IT system that she's designed that designs strategy. And she said to me, Bess, why is it that businesses always go into business strategy, but they actually haven't checked if they've got the necessary resources? Because you can design the strategy and then you're stuck. And then you discover that you actually don't have the people. So she was asking me, shouldn't companies first check as to whether they've got the people or not? Which is a very, very valid question. Because once you know what resources you have, and then you need to decide on the strategy. Are you going to buy more talent? Are you going to bind? Are you going to build? You know, are you going to borrow? What is it? And in designing your strategy, you will then also ensure that where there are gaps, you also address those gaps in terms of your strategy. So HR, for me, is very critical. I know the world is changing. We're going into technology. We're going into AI, all sorts. But behind every technology, there's still a person. It's a fact. We need people. And most important, we need strong leaders now. Your leadership style has to change. You know, we have a generation of young people who are very strong-willed, strong-minded. They know what they want out of life. And they will not tolerate mediocrity. They will not tolerate being harassed and bullied to do their work. They want meaningful conversations to say, this is what you're doing well and this is what you're not doing well. And this is how we can build you up and help you. So there are a lot of things that HR is faced with. So firstly, we need help with alignment with the business strategy. Involve HR in your business strategy. Make them your partner. Make sure that they help you with understanding what talent is in the market. What are the skills challenges that we are facing in the market? What are the skills shortages that we are facing in the market? Because as I say, you can design the best strategy and there are no people. So what are you going to do? You need to answer those questions. Secondly, we need resources and budget. It's very good to talk a good talk. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to have this great culture, launch values, do succession, do learning and development. Without budget, without money, you cannot do any of these things. You need the money to be able to implement any initiative that you want to put in place. You need the money to buy IT systems. HR has moved a long way. There are lots of things that now need IT. We were just chatting with my team today to say, you know, we're moving to a stage where we will no longer need OD people. Because I can simply go and chat GPT and pull down a job description. That's the reality. So I need somebody who will understand how to use ChatGPT to our benefit. So those are the challenges of a changing world and technology. So we need money to invest in the technology, the initiatives that we want to roll out, in identifying the talent that we need. I mean, doing talent pipelines is expensive. I remember the first talent pipeline I ever did. I used to work for EPSA Group Technology. They had the biggest IT hub in the country. They had over 5,000 employees. And I can tell you, we did a talent pipeline where we interviewed all the CEOs in South Africa. I mean, literally all of them. We met each and every one. We knew who they were. And we asked them, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with your career? So once we had that talent pipeline, it was easier for us that when we had a position, we already knew, oh, we've met Courtney. Courtney has got the skills that we require. You know, so those are some of the things that when you have the money, you can engage meaningfully and be able to attract the best talent that you can find. You also need, I mean, we talk a lot about employee engagement programs. You cannot do employee engagement without money. It requires money, you know? Your people give you 100%, guys, to be honest. Nowadays, who works 8 to 5? They don't. They work 8 to 10. And the best you can do is ensure that you give them the necessary support, the necessary initiatives that will keep them engaged, that will keep them motivated. Make sure that you put in place the well-being programs that are necessary, the wellness programs. You give them the necessary support. I mean, sometimes just buying breakfast, it's nothing in your budget. It's like 0.001 of your budget, you know? But those little things, they matter, guys. They matter. Allowing that flexibility of working at home, it matters. We were just talking earlier on to say people don't want to come back to work. And the big question is, why do people not want to come back to work? I know a lot of people have said, petrol has gone up, things are expensive. I've canceled my kids' transport, so I'm picking up and dropping off. The reality is people don't want to come back to work because the work environment is toxic. People are running away from politics. I must be honest. It's a reality. The thing is, you need to understand people are highly pressurized. People are highly stressed. And on top of this hard work and long hours, you then have a toxic and political environment. It adds to a lot of stress to the individual. It is not right. We need to change that narrative. We need to change that culture. We need to take away the red tapes. We need to take away the politics. And politics come because people want to self-empower and self-enrich themselves. We are here to achieve an organizational objective. We need to understand why we're there, because when you understand why you are there and the purpose that you're there, there's no need for you to play politics. It's like sometimes where I work at MTN, new people always feel that if you haven't been there for long and you're phoning somebody, that person will not pick up the phone because they don't know you. It's terrible. Why don't you pick up the phone? Because you don't know the person. The person is calling you because they want to get their work done. That's the only reason. You don't need to know the person. Pick up the phone and understand why people want to talk to you. People will not just phone you for fun. People want to get their work done, and some people are thinking, who's this one now? I'm not going to pick up the phone. That is absolute nonsense, guys. We are here to achieve an objective. At MTN, our objective is to ensure everyone deserves the benefits of a modern connected life. And whatever it takes to make that work, we must do it. And leave the red tape, leave the politics, leave the power. Positions are not about power. It's about what difference can you make as an individual. When you go to bed, are you going to go to bed saying, I actually made a difference today and I made the right decision? You don't want to go to bed feeling guilty that I treated somebody badly and I did the wrong thing. It's not right. Can we just change our behaviors and our consciousness? Talent acquisition, I've spoken about that. I've spoken about the importance of workforce planning, making sure that you get the right skill set, the right people when needed and when needed. And the world is changing. There are a number of ways that you can get talent. You no longer have to hire permanent people, contractors, temps. You can hire people from anywhere in the world. You can have virtual commutes. People who work in the US for you, but they're sitting in the US but working for you here. That is possible. That's what we are doing now. We hire a lot of people. We're looking for a lot of high technology skills. We're hiring people from the UK, from Europe, and they're sitting in Europe, and we employ them via the employer of record. So there are lots of possibility to attract talents and bring them into the business. Leadership development. It's an important aspect of the people. If we don't grow our business, our people, our business will not grow. Technology is changing fast. These MBAs that we did 10 years ago are no longer relevant. So how do you keep yourself updated and refreshed? You must study. And I expect the CEO to lead. In terms, if the CEO shows exemplary behavior to say, keeping updated, studying, engaging in forums, whatever it is a priority, and he leads by example, the rest of the business will follow. So making sure that people have their personal development plans is important. You cannot grow people, you cannot promote people, you cannot move people. And guys, let's just leave this thing about growing upwards. It's not always upward. Nowadays, we need skills. Okay? Forget about wanting to grow up. Just acquire as much skills as you can. Go and learn about data analytics. Go and learn about cloud. All those things. That is what you need. Because those will make you a well-rounded person. And can I ask CEOs, when things are tough, stop cutting the training budget. That's the first thing that they will do. Huh? And then you wonder why the people are not delivering. You have not trained them. In 10 years, you kept on cutting the budget. There's no budget. And there's been no innovative ideas coming through the business. People have not grown. People have not changed. So training is important. And there are a number of ways. Now we have training systems which are cheaper. They've got a whole list of bouquets of training. You have the Odilos and all those things. So invest in your training. And most of the training anyway should be on the job. Put in place mentoring programs. Put in place coaching programs for your people. And let the senior people mentor and coach your people. You don't always have to pay for all the training. You can do it in-house. Change management, very important. The CEO has to support any change initiative. If you want change to succeed, the CEO is the first thing. There's the first one who must lead the change. I remember when I was young and I went to an interview then at Anderson Consulting. They said to me, if your people don't want to use email, how do you make sure you make them to use email? It's a simple answer. The CEO must send the email. Huh? I'm telling you. CEO sends the email, everybody will use it. So that's why change is something that is led from the top. By the leader, you don't say, HR, here's change. We're having a merger and an acquisition. Sort it out. No. CEO must lead. And then things will be done. God gave you that position for a reason. Because he knew you had the authority to be able to ensure that things happen. So make use of it in the right way. The culture. Culture is the way we live and the way we show up as leadership. That's what informs the culture. And the one person people are looking up is the CEO. Hey, it's tough being a CEO, I'm telling you. You can't just breathe. Huh? Everybody is looking at you. What did he say today? Who was he working with? Do you see he's always close to that girl? The things that you're faced with. Some of your executives are female and now they accuse you. He spends too much time with that one. Maybe they're having an affair. It's tough. But your integrity has to be intact. You need to lead by example. You know, just ask God to give you strength to be at your best behavior, especially when you're at work. If you have a moment of weakness, please do it very far. When you're traveling and you're going to the US or UK, do it there and save yourself the embarrassment. Because now HR has to answer, why is the CEO doing this? And it kills the culture. Completely, it kills the culture. So be careful of those things. What you do, how you behave, how you show up. It is important, please. These office affairs, zero. I remember when I started my career in those days, I used to work for EDS. It was embarrassing. The then CEO had an affair with the marketing director. The wife of that guy. The one day we were having a town hall. And she knew it was town hall. Everybody's going to be there. She came with this guy's clothes and threw them in the water pond. It was just drama. Drama. After that, the CEO has lost respect. You don't want that. It kills the culture. So can we just, try and do things right? I know human beings are not always perfect, but try and be at your best level at all times. We have lots of well-being. Well-being is important. People are struggling with mental health. People are struggling with work-life balance, of which, to be honest, there is no such thing as work-life balance. Let's just admit, Some of us corporate junkies, we know that we like our jobs and we'll work and work until we are burnt out, which is not good. We need a certain level of emotional intelligence to know when to stop, to know that it's time to rest. It's time to exercise, otherwise you will collapse. So learn to look after yourself and also encourage your employees as well to look after themselves and take the necessary time off and exercise. And, I must say working from home has been great. Instead of sitting in 1 hour traffic, that 1 hour when you're used to sitting in traffic, now you can do some exercise. It's important. So support those initiatives. Support diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've seen the power of D&I in the workplace. Women have a sixth sense. We call it the Holy Spirit, if you don't know. I'm telling you, let me tell you why. No, listen. The Bible says, God will bring the Holy Spirit, who is your helper. And God made who? A woman out of the rib to become the helper. So that's why women, CEOs, if you've got women on your board, you will succeed. Because women will pick up things that you will not pick up. They have this sixth sense. It's God-given. That they can tell you that this deal is going to go wrong, this one. And you don't even want to listen. Because you're like, no, the numbers look right. And they say, man, there's something not kosher about this deal. So embrace that diversity. Listen to the women. We see things that you don't see. It's like that's why in marriages there's always arguments. The wife will tell the husband, don't go there, and he goes and then he gets into trouble. And then he says, but my wife is a witch. She's not a witch. She's not a witch. It's a God-given talent that you must acknowledge that they have and appreciate them. Thank them for it. And communication, effective communication in addressing HR issues is key. HR and the CEO must have a very good relationship. HR is your ears and your eyes on what is happening in the business, what is happening with the people. Listen to them. They will advise you. Keep them as your trusted advisor. And HR people must be honest. They must be authentic, and they must do what is right. Hmm? Because the poor CEO is stressed by shareholders and board members are on his head. They want revenue. So he needs a trusted partner. A person who can tell him the truth, because nobody is going to tell him the truth. That's the truth of it. So that communication between HR and the CEO is very key in making the organization successful. So, Courtney, I think, I just want to share that and leave it there. Thank you. I don't know if there are any questions.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Wow, wow, wow. My goodness me, the helper. You can all clearly see that Bess is absolutely passionate about HR, about people, about us as black people, as South Africans, that we really do have a purpose and we prosper. So I'm going to quickly allow 3 or 4 questions. She has helped shape MTN. Ralph Mpita is in excellent hands, as you can all see. So if anyone has got any questions, please feel free to just raise your hand and I'll quickly come with the mic and you can ask Bess. I'll take 3 or 4 questions very quickly. You're not allowed to hire her.
I'm looking for a head of HR now. No, but I just, first a comment. I totally agree with you. My mission was when I leave the organization, I want my whole national senior management to be black, because that is the country we're living in. They need to, and I must say my CFO, I got through you, my head of new business development, and most we are well on the way. So there's so much talent in our black people. No, really. But that's just by the way. I want to ask, you've made such an important statement to say there's nothing like work-life balance, because I feel so guilty. Everybody think I must help make that work and must create that. But you said, I just want to make sure you said there's something like that. Everybody must have the emotional intelligence to know when to stop and to rest and to address things with you. That's so interesting. So, because my question would have been, how do I ensure the wellness? Because staff wellness is so important under all the pressures. How do one get to that? Is the onus on me as employer only to, of course I have a role to play, but it was such a, you could just a little bit expand on this one. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I don't believe there is work-life balance, because we're called to do a job, and when you do it, you'll do it no matter what it takes. But like I say, when it's time to rest, you need to know have the intelligence to know that it's time to rest. I always tell my children, I say there are those mothers who work and then they also want to run quickly and attend sports day, and be with the kids and support them. I said, me, I'm not. My children know. I was that mother. When I'm in the office, I'm in the office. I'm not going to pretend and say, I'm going to run to sports day. I don't have the time, guys. I chose to be an executive, and being executive comes at a price. And they pay me enough to be able to hire services that can pick up my kids and do homeworks and whatever. That is you just need to be realistic of who you are and what you are faced with, because you will never be an executive who is sitting and watching rugby at school. That's the reality of it. You're just not going to have the time. So accept who you are, build your life around yourself, and get the necessary support, even at home. For some of those husbands who still want wives to cook, train your nanny how to cook the way you cook. Huh? I mean, really, this marriage thing must change. Men must, if you want to cook, I'm also an executive. We're all bringing money here. Huh? Who said, where is it written that the wife must cook? There's no such narrative. It's a very cultural narrative that must change. The problem, we go into marriage with expectations. And these expectations are cultural expectations that a woman must cook and clean. Okay, there's Elsie, she's busy, she's worried. There's no electricity. When is she going to cook? Huh? She's got a national agenda to worry about. Imagine, Elsie, now somebody's waiting for you to cook. Guys, please, don't do that. Just accept who you are and create your life around who you are. No offense to those mothers who want to be housewives and go to the rugby field. It's fine, that's who they choose to be, and it's okay. I have respect for that. And I choose to be an executive, I choose to do what I do, and I love it. And my kids know I travel a lot. They know that, mommy is gone, they're used to me. You know, they see me, when they see me and we spend quality time. When I'm back, I spend time with my children. I don't have time for friends, it's the truth. Because between work and family, I can only fit my children and my family. Friends, unfortunately, sorry.
Time for one more question. Thank you.
Thanks first for the truth. and putting it as it is. And I want to emphasize the point, colleagues, of being an HR and a trusted partner by your CEO. I tell you, trust me, if there is almost a wedge or something between the CEO and the HR director, the organization falls apart. True. Now let me tell you a brief story just to emphasize the point Bess is talking about. I won't mention where I come from because you know my CEO. When we were involved in bringing him on board, towards the end, the board has done all it has to do, I'm involved. Towards the end, I said, let's have coffee. We had coffee wherever, Tati Jongle, unmade, Listen. Colleagues, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Thank you. Because remember, you know your entity. You know your organization so well. And you know the naughty ones. Who will be going in there? See what people so I've seen those things because I've been around, as Bess says. So you want to help this guy who's coming in and say, look, whatever you do, in all your moments, as Bess says, stop. Because the last thing I want and I dread, I don't want, is to facilitate the dismissal of my boss. Straight. Because I don't want to be at night, chairperson phones me, Enox, please, it's my land, how to suspension letter as CEO. Who wants that? So he must know as he arrives, but this is how we're going to play this game. And you build the trust with the CEO because you're being authentic to him. You're being a sister, a trusted advisor. From the get-go. That's how you have to play them. My CEO, Nova Upina, the first person he calls, is Sisi, what are the latest? What do you want to update me? The first person he calls, stop nonsense, side.
Wow. Wow. Another round of applause for Bess. Trusted business advisor. This is a warrior talent leadership Indaba. We're here to create leaders for this beautiful country that we all live in. We all have a part to play. And Fungai, thank you so much for organizing this event, for bringing us all together. We are learning so much. You know, I've got 2 pages of notes. Yes. I will need a quick tutorial on how to navigate through some of these things, but I think we've all truly, truly benefited.